How to know if he's not the one for you, ladies, and what to do. You're in a situation. The guy you can't get out of your head, but he's not giving you the time of day. Or ladies, you're going emotionally bankrupt, investing in a man's potential, aka settling until it's too late, till you've had enough, till you can't take any more, till you know it's clear, the writing is on the wall, this is not going anywhere, he is not the one. Ladies, if you're tuning in tonight, this is the place you want to be, because in this discussion, we're going to get to the bottom of this. I'm going to give you three, I'm breaking it down, making it as simple as possible, 3 steps you can apply today with this situation, with this guy right now, and get clear for yourself. Do you need to keep it moving? Do you need to put him to the side? Do you need to tell him without telling him he's going to have to step up or move along, make some room? Is a man just stringing you along? How you can prevent yourself from betting on a horse who can't win your race. We're in it for the long haul. We're in it for satisfaction, if that is what you're looking for. But how to tell if you're betting on the wrong guy is the point. So let's jump right in. Who this is going to be for. You're going to be one of 2 positions, ladies. The first, you're stuck, caught up in the emotional swirl. You got a crush. Maybe it started with a fling, summertime vibes, whatever that may be. Or you've got a guy you've been dating that somehow, somewhere along the way, just became a full-blown situationship. And now you are in that purgatory. On again, off again. What are we? What aren't we? How come this isn't going anywhere? I'm getting mixed signals. I don't know how to read it. I don't know if this is serious. We all know it. We've all heard it before. Maybe, just maybe, you're on the other side. This is that part 2. So maybe you're on this other side. You're seeing someone that you hoped has some potential. You're seeing someone that you hope could be serious, but you're starting to notice things are a bit stale. You're starting to notice yourself bored, over it, with the ick more often than not. You're starting to not like the taste in your mouth when it comes to this guy, but you can't put your finger on it, and you don't want to waste the potential. You see the potential, you've got hope, right? You want it to become something. You hope it's something serious. At this point, you're already invested to some degree, but something is telling you, something is just not settled, that this is not the guy for you. This is not, if he were to propose, you might cringe a bit. You know what I'm talking about, ladies. And if that is the case, he's not the horse for your race. So for those who are stuck in a situationship, stuck in something that's not going anywhere, or stuck on a train that you desperately need to get the fuck off. Why does this happen? You've done one or 2 things. If you're in that first boat and you're stuck in a situation where you're not getting what you want out of the situation, this is not what you thought it was, or maybe you were on completely different pages and now you need to backpedal because you are somehow in the friend zone. You are stuck onto this guy who is not giving you what you need for one reason or another. You've underselected or overinvested. Now, what do I mean by that? If you're still seeking the validation behind your childhood traumas, your emotional wounds, everything in your past that has you too eager, too excited, too ready to move forward, anxious, jumping even, needy, you could say, at the first opportunity of someone to give you validation, someone to give you attention, that's going to get in the way. And let me paint this clearly, because the ego can easily hear those things. Nah, that ain't me. Nah, that ain't the situation. That ain't what it is. But really look for yourself. I invite you to consider, because again, under-selected, over-invested, meaning that the first person that comes along and notices how fucking brilliant you are, how dope you are, in this long walk of solitude that we all have to do through life, one way or the other. You came into this life alone, you're going to exit this life alone. Sorry to break that to you. And along that path, if you've been so degraded, if your self-worth, self-confidence, self-esteem has dropped so low that the first person giving you some positive, even if it isn't healthy, attention, that is going to nourish something in you. If you are so thirsty, well, they say the hungry don't get fed. If you are so thirsty for attention, if you are so needing of approval, male gaze, male attention, the opportunity, here's where most of my clients get stuck. feeling like, because the dating game is an experience where you have to take on rejection. You have to expose yourself. You have to be vulnerable. You have to be willing to put yourself out there to find a match. And this is on both sides, right? And in that dance, in that game, it doesn't always work out. This can be a grueling and challenging experience. We just want to acknowledge and face these facts, because as long as we leave it in these blind spots, as long as we leave it as what all the propaganda media and storybooks would have us believe, that love just becomes happily ever after because we feel something, those are a lot of the pitfalls that we honestly hear about. That's why divorce is so common. That's why marriages are so rocky. That's why dating itself, the dating game, there's pee in the dating pool, because we're not actually looking responsibly for ourselves. Everybody wants to just get to the happily ever after. And I'm gonna be real with you, because that's my job. It takes work. You gotta first do the work on yourself. You've gotta then do the work to put yourself in position to play the game, to get the opportunities. One side of the coin or other, men and women, we both have to go through the same hoops, if you will, stages, steps in preparation, understanding the game that you're playing. If you don't, it's a wild, wild west out here. And I'm sure you've heard it. I'm sure you've seen it. I'm sure you've experienced it. So when that under selecting comes out, well, is he a man? Yep. Is he giving me attention? Green light, feels good. And just really stop, take a breath. Here's a question to ask yourself, because this is often my first step with my clients, and not a lot of people start with this, begin with the end in mind. What are your standards? What are your expectations? What are you looking to have in partnership? Now, that is not the high school checklist, superficial items, you know, the 6'6", 6 foot, 6 figures, and whatever else you're looking for. It's not that. How do you, as a person, want to be loved? How do you want to feel about your partner? Here's a deeper question not a lot of people look at. Who do you want to be in the relationship? Everybody wants to talk about being healed. Everybody wants to talk about being ready to do the emotional labor, the emotional intelligence, all that hard work. How do you want to be in a relationship? Are you someone committed to being your best version? Are you someone committed who can be with your shit stanking? Finding out, oh, that was my mistake. Oh, my bad. Oh, that's something I could grow up with. Oh, I'm sorry. If you're not ready to do this type of work, these are the things that get overlooked when you are under selecting. Because if your standards are so high that, yo, I need you to do this, I need you to do this, I need you to do that, bring that to the table. And I'm not talking about resources. I'm not talking about superficial things. I'm talking about the quality of the stand. I need your communication to be on point. I need you to be responsible. I need you to be transparent. I need you to be vulnerable. I need you to be emotionally intelligent. Understand not only my emotions, but your own, and vice versa. So when you can put that bar so high, you got to bring it yourself. Because how can you be expecting the sky's the limit and you're not bringing that to the table? So when I say under select, again, I always point the finger back at us. If you're the type of person that will let someone not meeting these standards into your life and open yourself up and make yourself available and give away your value, your resources, your time, your body, your intimacy, everything to someone who is not qualified by your standards, again, you've under-selected and over-invested. You allowed things to go further. You allowed intimacy to be brought in the space. Here's the secret. I say it all the time. Divine feminine energy. Your power is in your vote. You have no idea how valuable it is to give your feminine energy away to others, men especially. Feminine energy is a multiplier. Feminine energy takes a seed and brings a human being. Feminine energy takes a house and turns it into a home. Feminine energy, the attention, the words, the whispers, the positive affirmation in the ear of a regular average man makes him a fucking king, a giant, a Goliath, someone who can change the industry. And when you are giving access to that, giving that away, and you haven't vetted and qualified, it's not just a free meal. It's not just a meal ticket. You'd be surprised how many times you're not taking advantage of a situation. You're actually giving away your advantage. The guy that has become a situationship, crush, a fling, something else, whatever the case. But either way, what's happening is you're in purgatory. You're getting strung along. Maybe it was a valid relationship and for whatever reason, you've taken a break, you've put it on pause, it didn't work out, and you still can't move on. Why is that? Because you're giving away the manager's discount to anyone who's just browsing. Ooh, this might sting a bit, ladies. Truth of the matter is, if you're not clear on what you deserve, and if you're not even clear on what you're looking for, it's so easy to get caught up in this dating game. And I'm not talking about the game, the interactions. I'm talking about the emotional escalator we put ourselves on automatically. It's really almost infantile. It's immature, right? The lack of experience for yourself. So you just take what everyone tells you, and it's easy to inherit, to get ingrained into these pathways, these locked on rails. It's just so easy that somebody likes you. Oh, we need to be dating. Oh, this is the one. I'm going to put all my eggs into this basket. I'm going to over invest. Mentally up here, you may not be doing anything out of the process because you're sold on a perspective that says that, oh, next we'll be in a relationship. Oh, it's intimate. We're having sex. Well, of course, I'm mine. I'm his. He's mine. We're together. It's just not official yet. You tell yourself all these things to soothe your nervous system, to soothe your intuition, to make yourself feel better about knowing you deserve more, to make yourself feel better about knowing this isn't really satisfying you. You're not really getting what it is that you want and need from the dynamic. Now, don't get me wrong. That does not mean that we need to put up walls and not be able to navigate from a vulnerable, authentic space. I saw a great message today about the difference between mirroring and modeling. You model the behavior that you want. Treat me with respect, have these boundaries, so on and so forth. These are my values, these are my beliefs. And you mirror what is showing up. So if you're mirroring, oh, they're not giving me what I want, so let me mirror and give that back. Well, wait, have you modeled what healthy looks like? Have you demonstrated or asked and requests put into communication what it is that you want? Or are you just assuming? That's the danger of that emotional escalator, is that it can put you in position to be accepting, going along with the program. You're expecting this because some Disney movie you saw 15 years ago told you that's how it's going to go. Some TV episode you saw, some movie, some propaganda, whatever it may be, social media, something tells you that's the way it's supposed to go, but you haven't actually done the work to get in communication. You haven't actually vetted and qualified. Are you actually on track to that? On the same page? This understanding is that men and women's value exchanges are not the same, however, of equal value. So it's not going to be apples to apples. You need to actually have an understanding of the transactional foundation of relationships, of dating. Men are going to hold access to commitment. Can't avoid it. Bottom line. If he doesn't put a ring on it, if he's not in for life partnership, if he hasn't verbally expressed, and of course you vetted and qualified him to be a man of his word, otherwise it doesn't matter without the actual sign of commitment. But if bringing that to the table is his highest value, ladies, be honest, when you've got that commitment, something shifts. Something changes because the initial hard work is done. Now, if you're wise, if someone's poured into you, if you've seen a good example of it before, you know that that's just where the work starts. However, from the woman's perspective, that commitment, securing that commitment from the man, that's a lock. We're good to go. On the other side, something so simple yet just as valuable: sex. Now, for women, you got an abundance of that. Intimacy, sex, opportunities thrown at you left and right from puberty. Now, the thing is, for men, it's rare on that side. See, commitment, relationship, that's rare for women. That's something that has to be worked for and earned. That's something that you want to put your stake on. You want to stamp it. That's what that ring is all about. On the other side, for men, getting female attention, getting sex and intimacy, getting access to that, let alone the femininity, the other benefits of feminine in your space, making the house a home, the multiplying, the breathing into, all of that comes along. So that's where I say, when you give your vote, that is the highest compliment. When you open up to him, when you allow him into you with the intimacy, you're giving the highest exchange. It is not the same. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying you got to be prudent. And what I am saying is know and understand the game. Live your path, have your fun, do what it is that you want to do. However, is what you want to do in alignment. If this is your time and season and you're not worried about that, great, fine, perfect. Understand the game. be ready so you don't have to get ready, because one day it's always going to have impact. That's why everybody's got a conversation about body count. Your history is going to impact your future, ladies. For him, it doesn't work the same. His future is going to impact his present. Whether or not he can count you in his future is whether or not he's on track to have some ambition and goals. You're betting on his future. He's betting on who you've been in your past, because that's who he can expect to be at his side, to be in his corner, to have his back going to the future. We're talking about two different value exchanges. And as you can see, there's no real exact parallel. No side can say, well, no, I'm not giving this because that's not worth that. Why would I want that? I'm not giving this. Are you crazy? I'm holding on to, why would I? We ain't at that. Do you see all the miscommunications? This is where a lot of the feminist conversation goes wrong, because yes, we are equal, but we are not the same. And in this exchange of values, which leads to being in a situationship, being stuck, not being able to move on, not getting what you want out of the dynamic, these are the factors that you got to look at. Think about what you're doing in the dating game, because where you think you may be taking advantage. There's a lot of guys out there who are desperate for the attention, desperate to get that vote. And you know what it is, ladies. If it's convenient, if it's to your benefit, this is simply female nature. Now, unfortunately, that gets labeled and compounded and collapsed to say that that's something negative about women. No, not the case. Feminine nature, in all of our divine femininity, my feminine nature, will take advantage of a situation. That is why men do it. That is why women do it. What you have to understand is, if you're taking advantage with your femininity to have your using men to pay for your meals, using men to pay for your bills, whatever the case, all of it is still tied to you. You are being taken advantage of, because ultimately, ladies, what would you rather have? And this might be fitting for you. What would you rather have? A Rolodex of men paying for your lifestyle, giving you all the treatment and things for whatever case point, right? Each man serves his purpose. Or would you rather have your leader? Would you rather have the man that you want as a partner? Would you rather have the man that you would be willing to submit to follow, to give children to raise a family, to create and build an empire and leave a legacy behind? What experience would you rather have? Because yeah, you can have bills paid. And by that, I mean, I'm not just talking about having a Rolodex of men. Maybe they're your clientele. Maybe it's OnlyFans. Nowadays, you can fit the bill one way or the other. But the whole context is 1 million men giving you $1, or the one man providing you $1 million lifestyle. What is worth more? At the end of the day, having the potential for what it is that truly satisfies you, makes you happy, why you play the game. Tell me this, ladies. You got to answer this honestly to yourself. Nobody else can hear it. Drop it down in the chat if you want to be real and bold, and let them know what's more important to you. Having partnership and commitment, companionship to the end of your life, having fun, full days and memories, or getting your bills paid. Do you put yourself online, put yourself out in the dating game, go through the work that I'm talking about it takes to get some free food, to get a steak dinner, some appetizers, tapas, drinks, to have a couple bags, some materialistic things that you can go out and get yourself by many means? Is that what you play the game for? I ask that with all sincerity. Time and place for everything, taking advantage of the situation. Guys have things on the other side that they take advantage of. However, for all of us, what I'm pointing to, man or woman, you're only taking advantage of yourself. Because while whatever's going on, you're still at the center of it. You are still responsible for it. The time that you are having to exchange to get those favors, the intimacy that you are opening up for, the vote of your femininity, giving even your attention, that's holding up your bandwidth from what you want. And if what you want is a long, happy, vibrant life, a strong relationship, a family, legacy, all those things that I pointed to, every day, every week, every text, every conversation, every swipe, every dinner, every date, all of those things are eating up your bandwidth, are eating up your energy, are eating up your life spirit, because every time it takes a toll. You felt it. That's what we're talking about it right now. He's not the one for you. You feel something. This is wasting my time. This is not serving me. This is not benefiting me. This is not getting me where I want to be. And in the meantime, these frivolous things, hey, maybe you're getting some good dick. Maybe you got some nice purses. Maybe you got some great trips. What about next month? What about 6 months? What about next year? What about the last time you got hurt? What about the last time you felt taken advantage of? What is it actually serving? Because the longer you stay stuck up in this swirl that I'm talking about with men that are not the man for you, you're keeping yourself away from the goal. So you first have to just answer yourself that question. What do you want? What is your goal? Because that's the only thing that's going to be worth your time, your attention, your resources, and giving yourself to, pouring yourself into men that aren't worth it. The man that you know is not going to get it done. It may not be apparent from the jump, right? I talked about that, neediness, thirst, jumping at whoever gives you attention. We're not talking about that. Maybe you've had some proper dates. Maybe you see some positive traits, qualities, things that you value. There's some potential. You think that he is somebody serious. And lo and behold, over time, as the infatuation fades, whatever it may look like, after a while you realize what you're overlooking. After a while you just can't pinpoint there is something that, maybe I'd just be better at home painting my nails tonight. I had a call with a client and that's something I gave her. See, in this game thing, it's like, well, what if he asks what kind of plans I have when I say I'm not available? Because I'm all about. I tell my clients, withdraw, take your energy back. Don't give that vote. Don't give your value away. That needs to be properly earned. There needs to be a purchase and transaction to that if we're talking about the exchange. And so as soon as you become clear, and what are the signs for yourself that he's not the one you want leading your relationship, that dream ideal for you, well, would you actually be better off with your girls or a night alone in a good book? Would you rather have other plans than the guy you're talking to? Pay attention to that energy. Pay attention to that dynamic, because that tells you straight up, maybe he's not the one. We can be so, ladies, a lot of times you're investing for a man's potential, for a man's future, hoping he will change, hoping he will get better. Now, there are ways, your feminine ways, that can coax and persuade and bring out the best in him. There's a delicate way that you do that, and you can positively, healthily challenge the masculine in him to pick himself up and step up to the plate. Now, that's a delicate dance, and it's also a dance that he's going to feel and know and be aware that he's not the MVP just yet, that you haven't given that vote that he wins the campaign. This is still a debate, and you could vote the other way. It doesn't matter if the other way is a night at home by yourself with a bottle of wine. That doesn't matter, because that's where you give your vote. This is a better investment of my time, attention, and energy than you over there. I'm gonna need you to hold up with that until you come and correct. And that's okay, because he's gonna get that, feel that, see that, if he's the one for you. The man that you know is not going to get it done. It may not be apparent from the jump, right? I talked about that, neediness, thirst, jumping at whoever gives you attention. We're not talking about that. Maybe you've had some proper dates. Maybe you see some positive traits, qualities, things that you value. There's some potential. You think that he is somebody serious. And lo and behold, over time, as the infatuation fades, whatever it may look like, after a while you realize what you're overlooking. After a while you just can't pinpoint there is something that, maybe I'd just be better at home painting my nails tonight. I had a call with a client and that's something I gave her. See, in this game thing, it's like, well, what if he asks what kind of plans I have when I say I'm not available? Because I'm all about. I tell my clients, withdraw, take your energy back. Don't give that vote. Don't give your value away. That needs to be properly earned. There needs to be a purchase and transaction to that if we're talking about the exchange. And so as soon as you become clear, and what are the signs for yourself that he's not the one you want leading your relationship, that dream ideal for you, well, would you actually be better off with your girls or a night alone in a good book? Would you rather have other plans than the guy you're talking to? Pay attention to that energy. Pay attention to that dynamic, because that tells you straight up, maybe he's not the one. MGM status, mature, grounded, masculine man. He's direct. He goes for what he wants. He's bold. He lets it be known. And the chase, I'll say, because no man wants a challenge when it comes to women. The chase is when you let him know the breadcrumbs that what he wants, he's clearly indicated, he's showing those signs, but something ain't clicking for you. The way you coax it out of him, the way that you whisper it into his ear is giving him the chase, giving him the hints, the slow rewards of, oh, I'll make myself available when you're talking right, when you're coming correct. I don't need to tell you what's wrong. I just need to withdraw my attention, withdraw my vote, withdraw my energy. And as he feels that, MGM status, mature, grounded, masculine man. Oh, wait, hold on. What's going on, baby? I thought we had plans. Oh, you're not available? Oh, you tied up? You busy? You got plans? Okay. Well, what's your weekend look like? He's going to step up. He's going to do something. Maybe you get that good morning, beautiful text the next day. That's the way this dance is played. It's not nagging. It's not pressure. It's supposed to be fun. There is no pressure. There is no work for the feminine. As you get into this dance, ladies, if you like what you hear, this is what my work is about. As you get into this dance, as you get into the fun and the play of it, all of your power comes through subtle, indirect maneuvers. And when you learn to navigate like this, it's a two-step, baby. We over here grooving. Those men that are not qualified to lead you, say you get past that early trauma, seeking validation, desperation, you start to see those signs that you overlooked. What I'll tell you, ladies, is when that shows up, listen. Listen to the unease. Listen to your femininity. I'm giving you a crash course in this because there's a lot of other steps that lead up to being able to decipher. And most of my clients, when they get here, it's not that because it's femininity. I'm not going to have you do anything. There's no bunch of work. There's being. And when you're being in tune and aligned with your feminine, it becomes clear and easy because your emotional indicator is your navigation. So when those emotions are going off, something's not settled. Something's not right. Something is, can't put my finger on it, but this ain't it. After we get past the desperation, everything may line up on paper. Maybe he is that 666. And maybe you feeling something that's like 666. Get away. This devil be gone. The devil is a lie. I ain't trying to hear it. But that's what you got to pay attention to. And those emotions, when your internal, your intuition doesn't have you inspired, it doesn't light you up. You're not all warm and fuzzy. Things aren't moistening up. It ain't luscious. It's not loose. It ain't flowing. When that's the case, tighten up. Cover and protect, because your intuition is telling you it's not safe. Do not proceed. There's a reason. A woman who wants to follow will come along. But the mature, grounded, masculine man is doing just the same. So I'm telling you, ladies, the defense of what you've got to do for yourself. You've got to be willing to give that chance for him to step up and show up, because the right man will. And on the other side, this is where the healing of those childhood traumas, because on the other side, if he doesn't, that's the hard part you got to be with. I was talking about the thirst and validation and everything else is so luscious and tempting up front. Because on the other side of that, it's hard to, oh, he didn't want me. To be honest with yourself. Because ladies, that's the situation where you get strung along. That's the situation where you're in a situationship, because you don't feel like the situation can get any better. You don't feel like there's a better opportunity out there. You don't feel worthy of the love that you deserve. Call it monkey branching. Before you're going to let go of this branch, you're going to swing on to another. And if there's no other out there, you ain't swinging. Well, okay, that's fine. Again, taking advantage of. This is what I'm talking about. I'm not trying to call you manipulative. This is feminine nature. If you don't have something better to go to, well, what is life? At least I've got somebody there at the end of the night. At least I've got somebody checking for me. At least I've got somebody paying the bills. At least I've got somebody taking me out to dinner. At least I've got somebody breaking off the dick. Whatever. However, if you're taking advantage of that situation, you're taking your time, your most precious resource, your attention, your most valuable resource, and you are giving that away at a manager's discount. Meanwhile, that man who would sweep you off your feet, that man who would make you feel, oh, this is a hell yes, take my vote, call me, pick me up, throw me over your shoulder and sweep me off my feet, all of that, that man who would act immediately, who would let you know exactly who he is, what he wants and what he's about, and follow through, he's not at your doorstep yet. Because you got a line out there. You've got orbiters in the space. Your time, attention, everything is spread thin. It's not enough for you to go around. You want a mature, grounded, masculine man in your life that is your man. The man that you've always dreamt of. The man that knows how to love you the way that you want to be loved. These are the 3 things you got to do, ladies. Take the time to heal and work on yourself. I know it. You wanted to skip over it. You hoped I was done. I said it all in the beginning. That's the tough stuff, the hard work, the shit you swear you have done. But if you are listening to this and you relate to this and you are in this situation, truth be told, you have to be with it. It's just not. You got to work on yourself, and it's okay, because when you do, these things won't show up. I tell you this first, start with yourself first, because this is the self-sabotage. This is shooting you in the foot. This is taking up your time, attention, and energy. And as you're quick to say, I ain't got time for it. I ain't got the energy for it. Well, you keep opening yourself up to it until you do this. Take the time to heal and work on yourself. What does that look like? Ladies, you've got to know your worth. You've got to know what you deserve so that you don't rush in for anyone who gives you attention. Not just anyone, because you deserve more than attention. And no, I'm not calling you easy. I'm not calling you just, anybody who cat calls you. Oh, what's up? Where we going? Hey, daddy. No, but what I am pointing to is that just because they're giving you the attention, just because they're giving you time, just because they're paying for a meal, not the ones that you're clearly taking advantage of, the ones that clearly don't qualify, but just because he is willing to make his presence be known, put in a bare minimum of effort, that's not enough. This is where you doing this background work, you have something to stand for, so that when he shows up, you can actually identify it. Heard another great message today. It was talking about 2 different women, 2 different situations, and one is pushing men away. I'm gonna let you guess. So first lady spends her time on social media, and she's looking at everything that's pointing out red flags, narcissists, controlling individuals, bad men, unloyal men, unfaithful. The other young lady is spending the exact same amount of time. However, her content is tailoring to healthy relationship habits. Her feed, her algorithm, the videos that she invests her time into, is giving her information about healthy relating, healing childhood trauma, understanding her attachment strategy, knowing her love language, knowing what good men habits look like. Mature, grounded, masculine, that MGM standard. When that shows up, what does it look like? What kind of man has that? And say both of these young ladies go out to an event, a singles mixer, if you will. And as they walk into the room, it could be the exact same men. What are the odds that the first young lady, looking at all the problems, is going to run into everything that she studied? She'll be able to disqualify left and right. She'll know every single negative trait right after they open their mouth, whatever their stance is, whatever their eyes give off, whatever energy she feels. But do you think that the second young lady is going to be able to identify a prospective partner that suits her needs and desires? Yes, more than likely. Do you think that she's going to align with the energy of having healthy, positive energy to give out, divine feminine energy, understanding the polarity in the dance, knowing what these men are looking for, knowing how to identify these men, and what are the indicators? What you put out is what you get back. So if you have clearly defined standards, ideals, boundaries, things that you can stand on, then, ladies, you're in position to start auditioning. You're in position to disqualify, not based on what you want to avoid. This is my own distinction, miscreation. We're always creating something. Our energy is always attracting. This is what our divine feminine does. The energy attracts, aligns, it's open so that it can receive what we're looking for. Once it aligns, comes straight to us without effort or energy. It's not forceful like masculine. It doesn't have to go for it. It doesn't have to do anything. But when you align your energy, when you get the miscreations out of the way, paying attention to all the bad signs and things you don't want, then you're going to start to attract. Then you can actually have what it is that you want because you've got clear, defined standards, ideals, boundaries. That's what you're auditioning off of. And what's the indicator? How do you know, right? That's what we've been talking about this whole time. That intuition. Because Now that you've given it a baseline, now that you're not just out here haphazard, whoever shoots their shot, whoever gives you a holler, whoever calls this week, no, you've got standards. Whoever makes you feel like you feel when you think about your ideal relationship. Whoever makes you feel like this is a MGM, a mature, grounded, masculine man that leads, that's a man of his word, that does what he says, that is loyal, that is out to build a legacy, looking for partnership, that is in the time, place, energy, alignment, all of those things. And when you have those standards predefined, then you're ready. Then you're attracting it. You know what it feels like. You don't have to get ready. You don't need to test it out like, oh, I feel it. Oh, I feel so good. What did I say? Hell yes. Hell yes. That is the masculine man I want. Hell yes. That is what I need. And when that energy aligns, because you've already said hell yes to your ideals, you've already said hell yes, this is what it looks like. And that resonates, it transfers over. So when it shows up in front of your face, you feel warm and fuzzy. This is different. I can't put my finger on it. I don't know why. Yes, because your feminine intuition is talking to you. It's in alignment. That's exactly what you want. Proceed ahead. You won't have the hesitations. You won't have the reservations. You'll know that that's what you've been looking for. Number 2, ladies, what can you do to know that he's the one for you? Know the difference between attention and interest. Now, this one is kind of going back to that exchange calculation, right? It's got to go deeper than surface. Attention is just on the surface. It is the minimal level of investment. Now, confusing part about that is in this day and age, you can get on an app and get plugged into anyone, anywhere in the world. So yes, they may spend money. They may shoot their shot and give you that bare minimum communication. Maybe they'll fly you out. That's still not investment. That is still surface. Maybe they'll give you dates, time together, makes himself available. Okay. But is he interested, which has depth? See, if you're not just so desperate or needy for the attention, you can identify that you're getting attention, but he's actually showing interest. This is what you're waiting for. This is that next level. So interest, again, it's got depth. Why? Because it's going to be like showing vulnerability. Yes, from the man. He's willing to be vulnerable with you. I'm not talking about soft. I'm not talking about his, feelings, his emotions on his shoulder, heart on his shoulder. No chink in the armor, none of that. But he's willing to be vulnerable about who he is. He's willing to explore and get to know you. That's also another caveat. Does he want to know you? A man who's not invested won't care. A man who's not invested doesn't care about your body count. That's the part that's hard to be with, is that because he cares, it's actually because he's considering a future. That is something, your past is something that holds value for him because he's looking at your future together. So while it may annoy you because it's not a positive reflection, it's not a positive conversation, maybe there's pressure from how the game works. Hey, don't kill the messenger. I'm just saying, if he is looking at these things in a mature, healthy way, it's actually a good sign. That means he's vested. If he doesn't care, he doesn't care about you. I'm not talking about a one-off situation. I'm talking about masculine in general, men in general. Of course, he'll take the sloppy seconds, thirds, fourths. But if he wants you to be with him forever, if he wants to commit to you, propose to you, if he wants to have children, build a family and life with you, he absolutely wants to be the first and only in line. Now, that is its own gray area. How do you find a balance to that? I'll be honest. And it's valid, whether you like it or not. So you have to understand and weigh. This is why I say something so simple as attention, something so simple as interest. Don't give away the manager's discount just for somebody willing to browse. Does he have interests? Is he willing to invest? That's how you show that you are interested, by actually taking interest. When you invest in something, you've got interest, you've got stake in the game, you've got stocks in how that company performs, that entity going forward. You're vested in it. You are interested. Absolutely. Mature, grounded, masculine man, MGM. He is clear. He is straightforward. What does that mean? His leadership is going to show forward. If he don't care, whatever you say, whatever you want, he's indifferent. You absolutely make no shot of difference for him. That's because he doesn't care. If he's not willing to lead. Now, one thing, if he doesn't have the capacity, another clear reason he's not the man that you want. But if he doesn't show the interest, the desire to take the lead, and you don't have to nag this out of him. Remember, passive, indirect is the way of feminine. So you leave the room for the lead. Do not escalate anything. Don't ask, what are we? Don't ask, what are we doing here? If he's not made it clear, then he don't feel the pressure. He doesn't see your value. He's not interested. And if he's not, an interested man, a man that wants to lock that down, a man that sees your value, he's one in pursuit of, let me know you. I want to get to know you. I'm asking questions. I am interested in who you are. And I want to protect my interest. I want to protect my investment. I want to lock down this time. What's your schedule looking like? Okay, how's next week? All right, I got some travel lined up with this. Trying to this forward. There's leadership. I want pride. It's clear and direct. I'd like to do this again sometime. He's interested. There is depth. There is leadership. With leadership comes clarity and intentionality. And I hope what you hear inside of this, ladies, is not only your qualifications into whether or not he's qualified. There's no pressure on you. You don't have to disqualify him because the opportunity is over there with him and masculine to show up, to step up. If there's no leadership coming to the space, he can come in and lead it. He can show with clarity and intentionality what he wants. And because you're not rushing it, because you're not sold on him, because he's not all the eggs in the basket for you, it's going to be clear to him, well, why not? You got plans. With who? You're not free that night. Why for? Because he's going through the same things on his side, right? You giving him the validation of, I let her know I'm available, she coming right and ready. Same thing. So when you apply a gap there that you're not readily available, whether it's at home with a bottle, painting your nails, hanging out with the dog, watching your favorite movie, hanging with friends, whatever. But if he can't get on your radar, not a challenge, but a chase, yes, it's going to indicate something for him. And all these things are going to align for him if he's the man for you. That MGM, mature, grounded, masculine man is going to step forward to make that known, have clear intentionality, to make sure that it happens, to go for what he wants, to leave it all out on the field. She know what I'm about. She know who I am. I'm gonna give you a secret, ladies. This is my own philosophy. Before I'm gonna be counted out of a dynamic, because see, another secret is that a mature, grounded, masculine man can contain for your emotions. He can hear you tell him his shit, not nagging, not complaining, telling him how you feel. Because that feminine litmus, I want to know you. What is life? When you give me the feedback that I'm not the big bad that I thought I was, that I'm not the baddest motherfucker in the land, that I'm not showing up like a mature, grounded, masculine leader that I know myself to be, because as a mature, grounded, masculine man, my word is important. What I say I do, I do. And when you tell me that that's not showing up, when you tell me I'm all smoke and mirrors, when you tell me I'm giving pipe dreams, my mature, grounded, masculine essence, that's a challenge. That is a challenge, challenging me, my character, myself. Who do I say I am, and how am I going to let this end? At the buzzer, I'm going to leave it all out on the field. I'm going to give my best, because I'm not going to have something I want in life. Do you hear this leadership? Do you hear this mature, grounded, masculine energy? I'm not going to have something I want in life kept from me on behalf of me not giving it all. on behalf of me not showing up, on behalf of me not being ready. I'm going to show willingness. I'm going to show and prove. I'm going to step up. I'm going to do whatever it takes. And even if that gives me the push that I need to go back in the workshop and work on myself, that's the type of energy and situation, ladies. And I hope you can hear it for yourself. The hell yes. That's what's attractive. That is the polarity. These are all just natural elements. I'm not giving you any voodoo, any shortcuts. I'm just telling you like it is. So the last part, ladies, third thing you've got to do, to know that this is the man for you, to know that this is the man that you can cast your vote with, that you can build a legacy with, that you can create a family with, make memories and enjoy life with. He's worth it. Hold firm to your standards with realistic expectations. I've said it throughout this conversation, you are going to have to find a balance between spreading yourself thin and having all your eggs in one basket. This is for your sake. I'm not talking about the intimacy, sexual engagement, anything else. But when I say that, understand that mentally, if you take it that I've got this guy, I've got this attention, I really like him, things are good going forward, and you don't entertain anything else, you don't hold space for him to show up. You're just waiting on him to lead it, waiting on him to take it away. That's the reason things have gotten stale. That's the reason you're not impressed. You've got the ick. You're not feeling it anymore. You would rather be with the bottle. You would rather be painting your nails. It may not be one thing he said. It may not be one thing that happened. It may not be one thing that he did. But you're feminine. Your intuition is always answering, what is life? And so if you hold to your standards with realistic expectations, until someone is showing you MGM, mature, grounded, masculine energy, saying, I want this, I'm clear, I'm direct, there's intention, there's clarity, there's leadership. Until that shows up, you hold firm. Date, see what else is out there. You're still on the market. You're still casually dating. There's nothing committed here. And until that shows up, there's no reason for you to be any further vested. So hold firm, find the balance, because mentally, if you're getting serious, this is where I say you have to find the space to navigate, because by that mental process, you're behaving, giving your intimacy, you're behaving, multiplying, giving your attention, giving him full open access to you, because he's the guy you're dating. That I'm aware. I know the realism of it. That's how that body count can climb. Because every guy, every 3 months, every 6 months, you're dating for something serious. You're dating for marriage. You're dating for family. It's all fair game. There's nothing wrong with you. And if you're not navigating properly, maybe it isn't the time to be opening yourself up so much. Maybe you're too invested into this one at a time happening. Now, when I say spreading yourself thin, just like I said before, if you're just playing the game fully, oh, one's taking care of my bills, one's dicking me down, one's giving me some meals, one's flying me out here and there, well, then you're so spread. Where can you get any investment? Where can you actually vet for the right things? Because your time and attention is going to be tied up into that. So again, ladies, I'm not giving you the simple solution. I'm giving you the steps that you have to look at for yourself. What is that gray area to navigate? If this is your season to have fun and enjoy yourself, have fun and enjoy yourself. If you want that back end, remember, begin with the end in mind. Have your ideals and standards. If you just got a bunch of boy toys orbiting you, then yeah, a real man can't see you, because from miles away, you're surrounded. You're unavailable. Your time's tied up and you are wasting it, thinking you may be taking advantage of the system. Maybe you think you're enjoying yourself, but if it's not for what you actually want, what are you investing in? So be honest with yourself about what your feminine energy is saying. Is this fun, or is this your future? Is this what you want, or is this maybe what you wanted in that moment? You're going to have to decipher for yourself. But if you be honest and listen, your feminine energy is always talking, always giving you exactly what you need to know, exactly what you need to hear. You just have to hold firm, take a breath. And the important part to this, why I slow it down, why I say to hold firm, is because divine feminine, ladies, I'm completely aware you're run by the emotions. Not that you don't have the choice, not that you don't have the same divine masculine. What I'm saying is that if you are here, if you are looking to be a feminine woman, you are strongly driven by your emotions. And the emotions of that potential love, the emotions of how good it feels in alignment. And yes, the passion, the fun, the love, the infatuation, those all feel good. Are those the deeper things of how you want to be loved? So those are the things that you have to be honest, take a time, take a breath, and listen to within your divine feminine intuition. And you can do all that when you love yourself enough to be alone rather than allocate your bandwidth, your energy, and your resources to the men who aren't measuring up. So ladies, with that is three things to do. Take your time and heal. Work on yourself first. Know the difference between attention and interest. Which is he giving you? And then hold firm to your standards and have some realistic expectations. If you do those three things, ladies, I promise you, you will very quickly identify the MGM status. That's my own coined phrase. Mature, grounded, masculine men showing up in your life with clarity, direction, leadership, intentionality. And that's how you'll know if he's the one for you. Ask yourself that question. What is life behind this man? And if it's not lining up for the life that you want, you've got your answer. What you do with your time and energy, where you cast your vote, the rest is up to you.